Today, I want to talk to you about video conferencing in witnesses and why you shouldn't use Skype. With web conferencing and video cameras becoming more prevalent than ever, the question I get with increasing frequency is, can't I just Skype in a witness for my trial? So whether the witness is unavailable, whether you'd rather do that than taking a videotape deposition because you think that would be more engaging or entertaining for the jurors, or for whatever the reason why, a lot of attorneys want to video conference in witnesses. This typically happens with employees that no longer work for the company, that now have moved out of state, or for a variety of other reasons, medical providers, things like that. I mean, there's one cautionary tale that's out there. It's from the Trayvon Martin trial, where the attorney tried to Skype in one of the witnesses, I think from Colorado. He was the professor of some online course that the defendant had been taking involving criminal investigations. And so they wanted to get this guy's take on who Zimmerman was as a student and what are the kinds of things that he was interested in. So it started out decently enough, but the way that they had it set up, they were using their cell phones to call in and have the voice part of the video call, but then they were also doing like just a straight video capture of whatever the Skype interface was at the time. Now, this was a couple of years ago, and the Skype interface looks a little bit different now, but at the time, the way that the Skype interface was, or at least the way that they were showing their Skype interface, because the trial was televised, you could see like the initiator of the call and the recipient of the call. So you could see the usernames for both parties of the call. And so what ended up happening, as this trial was being broadcast live on television, people saw the usernames that were listed on the Skype interface and they started calling in. So they were literally interrupting the witness testimony by kind of phone spamming this direct testimony.
That's based on the coursework in the book.
I'm sorry, would you go ahead and repeat that starting from the beginning?
Yes, is it coming across?
Go ahead.
Is there another phone that we could call into? That's not a cell phone? Is there a
I have somebody trying to call in on this phone.
Okay, turn down the volume. Is there another phone that we can call into that is a landline that we will not have the pop-ups of people calling?
Well, the pop-up that they're calling on is the landline.
Hang up the phone.
Yes, sure.
It's off now. It's not hung up, but it's off. You take.
No, I don't want those up on the screen.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's find another phone number that we could call Professor Pleasance on.
So that's kind of like the worst case scenario. Probably not going to happen to most of you out there in terms of your trials probably aren't going to be televised, or at least not televised live. So that won't be as big of a problem, but there's still some very real considerations that you have to take into account before you think about Skyping in a witness. Now, lots of courthouses have procedures for video conferencing in witnesses. That's something that happens frequently. Even at the Daly Center of the State Court, where we do most of our support, there's a procedure for that, but you have to use a special system. The Skype system won't work. Number one, because there isn't Wi-Fi available in that courthouse, at least not Wi-Fi that's available to the public or attorneys even. And for something like a video conference, you need bandwidth. So that's kind of like the horsepower that drives the video signal that makes the telephone conference seem seamless. So like when you watch like people getting like simulcast in or interviewed on the news, it's via a satellite, and the amount of information that that satellite can push up and pull down is really broad. It's a dedicated signal that's only job is to push up the video and audio of that signal, and yet we've still all heard that signal delay, right? So when the interviewer, like the news anchor, asks a question and then there's a delay, and the person on the other end hears the question and answers it, there's usually a delay. That's because of the time it takes for the video signal to get up to the satellite and down. Now, the other experience that other people are probably familiar with is like FaceTime. So we've all tried FaceTiming our family or kids or something like that. And if you're not in this area where the Wi-Fi signal is strong, or if you're doing it just on cellular, I mean, if you think about it, FaceTime didn't even used to work on just cellular when it was first released because of the bandwidth, right? So if you ever had a situation where the bandwidth is low or the lighting isn't great, you've had a suboptimal experience. It's either really grainy, pixelated, the images are jagged, and so you're not getting a smooth, fluid motion. You're getting things that are like jumpy all over the place. These are all the same problems that will happen if you try to Skype in a witness via Wi-Fi or a hotspot, because there just isn't enough bandwidth. If you look at people that are trying to live stream things on Facebook or YouTube or anything else online like on Twitch, they're usually uploading with a hardline connection, Ethernet connection, to their internet modem at a high rate of speed. And so that's usually something that's higher than what's available in most law offices from my experience. And so you want something that's even stronger and faster than that. And so what they do at the Daily Center is they have a Polycom system. Polycom is a special brand, not that it's sponsored or that I'm necessarily recommending that brand. This is just what they have at the Daily Center, the state court here in Chicago. And it has 2 TVs on a rolling cart. One is for what you're seeing and one is for what you are. So you could see both things at the same time. And it has a high quality camera with a high quality microphone on it, because audio is also going to be a big issue. And that system directly plugs into the Ethernet network of the courthouse. Now you might say, well, why can't I just plug into that? Well, at that specific courthouse, they don't allow members of the public, even attorneys, to connect into their system for network security reasons. And if you think about it, that makes a lot of sense. So if you want a video conference in a witness at the Daily Center, you have to do that through the Daily Center and their IT support. I can't help you with something like that, nor can any other vendor. You have to go through the court's system. Even then, I'm not a huge fan of video conferencing in witnesses. At its best, it's still a suboptimal experience. I would any day rather videotape a witness and then get it edited and then played for the jury. I'd much rather always do it that way. The video quality is going to be better, the audio quality is going to be better, and it's going to be just much more smooth, and you're going to enjoy your experience. If you don't like the way video conferencing, videotaped witnesses work, you're going to like video conference witnesses even less. Overall, that's why you can't use Skype as a way to bring in a witness, is because usually the internet signal is not strong enough. 2, there's other security concerns. For example, in Cook County, I don't know if it's all of Illinois, but in Cook County, you cannot use Skype unless there's an exigent circumstance. Because of that security concern, they're worried that there is going to either be some sort of interference in the line, and so they're concerned, I think it's an antiquated and outdated concern, but they're concerned that the person that they're seeing might not actually be the witness that they think that they're seeing. It's like a weird fraud kind of thing. I think that's where that rule comes from. So it has to be a court-approved system. The one exception to that is at the Daily Center right now, currently May of 2018, their Polycom system is down for, I think, an indefinite amount of time. City dollars at work here, I guess. And so the last case we worked on, or maybe it was 2 cases ago, the opposing party had to bring in a witness by Skype, and Kevin was there to kind of observe what a train wreck that would be, and it was a train wreck. The video connection was not great because at the Daily Center, the courtrooms are usually at the lowest, the 16th floor, at the highest, like the 23rd, 26th floor. Wi-Fi hotspots don't work all that great, and when they do, you don't get a very robust signal, and so the signal quality was terrible. It kept cutting in and out, and there was a significant amount of lag and delay in terms of being able to communicate with the witness. So yes, like a lot of things that are out there, and a lot of videos that I make for this channel, yes, you can technically Skype in a witness, but I don't recommend that you do it. Number 1, the local court rules might prohibit you from doing so. And number 2, even if you're allowed to do so, you really should rethink it because the experience is not going to be nearly as good as you think. So if you have any questions about video conferencing in witnesses or videotaping witnesses generally, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'd love to talk to you guys down there, especially if you guys, I know a lot of videographers and court reporters are out there. Let me know how you guys are solving those problems, because I know you guys are at the front line of that specific issue. I'd love to hear what you guys are experiencing. Thanks again for watching.